Yeah, let's just
But
have a, you know what? It's
yes,
kind of like a park bench conversation.
that's
How's that? Like
it.
we're sitting in a park bench and we just kind of met each other and wondering what's going on.
Totally. So, welcome to Vibrant Vienna.
Thank you.
Today we're talking with Denise. Is it Denise Lee?
No, Denise Lee's fine.
Okay, Denise Lee from the owner of Social Burger. In doing some of the other interviews and talking to people around town, that people know who you are and know about Social Burger. Mikey at the sandwich shop
Yeah.
spoke very highly of you and stuff like that. So he was the first interview that I did, and he
Yeah.
literally was like, "Okay, who are you gonna do next?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "You gotta talk to Denise at Social Burger."
Mike's become a good friend, and I think the good thing about Vienna and running a business in Vienna is really, you can ask for help from almost any business owner, and chances are they're going to help you. I don't,
Yeah,
I have asked for help from day one from so many people, and everybody's always said yes. And if they also come to me, it's never no.
right,
It's,
right.
it's never no, and I
That's
think that
awesome.
is very unique to Vienna.
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah.
glad we have our business where we have it.
Is Vienna really actually unique?
I think Vienna takes a lot of pride in having a lot of locals.
Right.
We have friends that were born and raised in Vienna, went away for college and came back and raising their kids here, or people who are just so vested in the community. I've never lived anywhere else here in the US other than Maryland and Vienna. So I can say where I lived in Maryland, it wasn't that way. It wasn't this way. I think because we have a lot of local schools,
Right.
and that's another factor why the town is so close, interconnected. There's a strong local um,
Right.
sports history. So that in and of itself, I think, makes it unique.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
cool.
have to
Yeah.
be the amount of shops, but I think it's the mindset that once people get into town, like, oh, we're like local Vienna residents now. And there's a lot of pride for that, in that,
Yeah.
a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm new. We just bought our first house a year ago, and I mean,
So don't you feel like a local?
this neighborhood and community is really cool. But
Yeah, we have a lot of customers at Social Burger that come in and say, "Oh, we just moved to the area," and I say, "Hey, what brought you here?" And most of the families, they will say it's the schools. It's the schools.
right,
They love
right,
how there's several schools within the town or in the area of Vienna that is walkable for their
yeah,
kids. So there's a charm to that. And I don't know if Reston or Fairfax, I don't know, or Falls Church has that. But I know for the town, that's a value added. I've made lasting friendships in town. So I think that's
yeah,
what makes um, that is part of the charm of the town.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. So how long have you lived here? And how
19
did you? 19 years?
Yeah, in the town, in Vienna. We live right outside the town by Thoreau, but our
Yeah.
business has been in Vienna for 5 years, going
Okay.
on six, if you can imagine.
So what did you do before Social Burger?
So actually, I work for another local business who you should also connect with, unless you have, Margot and Dave Jones, who own Purple Onion Catering.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great.
No.
And,
Perfect.
their business is right on Maple Avenue. Like less than a 2-minute walk from Social Burger. So I worked for Margot for many years. She started a catering company out of her home in the town, and I started with her there. I kind of, I went to cooking school, had my kids, was looking for part-time work, and she was there, and I eventually did sales for her. And at some point, you decide in the cooking world whether you
Mm.
Want to own your own business or work for somebody, and I think it was just time. They are my closest friends till this day. In fact, everything we're doing at Social Burger, all the deliveries now for all the frontline and first responder meals, we use their van.
Oh, awesome.
Trusted
Yeah.
me surprisingly with their van to drive on the Beltway. But yeah, so I worked with them. I learned how to sell from Margot.
Got
Yeah,
it.
'cause I also did events for her,
That's
as
huge.
yeah.
That's skill.
So I always say I got my start from her, and
Right.
that's the honest truth. She taught me how to organize, how to do events, how to do corporate sales. Just, we talked about it. When we do events, I learned how to do, I learned the value of optics. We talk
Right.
about that word a lot, the value of design, things I didn't know. I knew how to do it in food, like to plate food and cook food and make it look pretty, but how do you scale it? How does it translate to a table for a wedding?
Right.
And how do
Right.
you sell that to a couple, you know,
Right.
engaged couple for their wedding that's spending thousands? So
Sure.
I literally learned so much from her. You
That's
need to get in
cool.
touch with them. They're great.
I will. Yeah. Purple. What's the name again?
Purple Onion Catering Company.
Purple onion. Got it.
They've been around like 20 some years. So yeah, I've
Yeah.
known her like 19 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, 19, 20 years.
Okay. So how, like, deciding to open your own business, right? Going from I want to, like, cooking is my passion
Yeah.
to, all right, I want to open my own business, right? Like, you're making a decision at that point.
So I will tell you, opening any business, whether it's a restaurant or your own, even your own, if you decide to open your own home-based business, it is hard. It
Yeah.
is hard. It is
Yeah.
frightening. It is scary. All the adjectives that come with it, they're true.
Yeah.
But you know what? First off, I don't think I could have had the business that I opened. I couldn't have Social Burger without my family's support. When we decided we're going to go all in, there was no turning back. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Uh, and, it is a big leap. It's a big leap of faith. But, I knew that if I had the business in Vienna, that somehow we could make it grow. And maybe it was a very naive idea, but I knew
Mm.
I almost had to have this very stubborn belief that it was going to work out. And that's kind of how I've always been. It's like once I've set my mind to certain things, like my mindset is for myself. I mean, everybody's different, but my mindset is so powerful. If I decided that
Yes.
that's what I'm going to do, that's what
By
I'm going to do.
any way possible, you're gonna make
Yeah,
it work.
it's
Yeah.
and everything about my personality is like, I think I'm very crafty. I'm very like scrappy. I literally will do anything to make something succeed. Um,
Yes. I
so I
love
remember
that.
I have a good friend in town. Her name is Sheila Murphy. She owns a staffing business, and I'll connect you with her at some point. Connect you both at some point. I
Cool.
remember standing at Cunningham Park at the Hallowingo, and we were kind of talking, whispering at the back, and I said, because she looked at my resume at some point, but and she was kind of checking in, and we were whispering, and I said, Sheila, I think I'm gonna, I've made a decision. We're gonna open this business. We're gonna open a restaurant. It's gonna be a burger restaurant. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but this is what it is. And she looked at me and she said, you have the perfect skill set for that.
Mm.
Was huge for me because
For your
it's coming from a person that knows this. She looks at tons of resumes every day. She
Yep.
knows who can do it, who can, not so much who can do it, but she goes through people's qualifications. And when she
Yeah.
did that, it literally meant a lot to me. And I told her that when we opened, I said, Sheila, do you remember that conversation? And I've told her kids that. I said, your mom
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
told me this, and I have in opening the business, in the very, very hard days of planning when I couldn't figure it out, I'd always go back to her voice in my head telling me, oh, you know what, you can figure this out, you have the skill set for it, let's. And you know what, once again, it's your mindset. I went back to that, and okay, let's see the best way to get this done with no money. No banking, no banks would lend us money. No, like, it's just
Wow.
when you're starting. You just
Yeah.
make what you have. And, I wouldn't trade that for anything
Yeah.
because, you know,
It,
it really forms you. It makes you see what you're capable of. It's never perfect. God knows.
of course.
I'm the furthest from the perfect kind of business person, but you figure it out, and
Yeah.
you just, like I said, it's mindset. The best thing we've ever done, and this is all I owe this to my husband, Damon, is that we don't have investors.
It's awesome.
And I think if for all the mistakes I've made in the first till today, my day today was like full of mistakes. But for all the mistakes, if somebody was calling me out on like, hey, where's my investment? You said in 2 years I could get. I don't think I would have
Yeah.
probably either
Yeah.
sold or found a way to buy him out. I don't know what that
Yeah.
picture would have looked like, but it wouldn't look like what we
The
have.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
I make a ton of decisions every day from the moment
Yeah.
I wake up, and most of them are wrong. But you know what? It's at the end of, the buck stops with me. I made a wrong decision. All right, I'm sorry, everybody. Let's do something else, or let's correct
Yes.
it. And
Yeah.
but if I had to call somebody else and say, hey, you know what? Can I put tater tots this month? What do you think? It would make me crazy. We, we wouldn't
Exactly. Exactly.
we wouldn't be as
Exactly.
agile as we are
Exactly.
now. If something doesn't
Yeah.
work, it's out. It's out.
That's
We're
right.
I'm not apologizing to anybody about, oh, if in the slow times, if somebody had to tell me you should have chicken wings to make more money, I would probably like lose my mind. It's just so I guess I didn't tell you my life can be summed up in like outtakes. That's my whole life is outtake. It's like I always have this thing. I always tell the staff, just put your head down and go to work. All that
Yeah.
is noise. Our
Yeah.
job is that everybody that walks into Social Burger, it's our responsibility to make them as happy as we can. Whatever 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30
Yes.
seconds getting a drink. Because that to me is the definition of hospitality. It's like the
Yes.
moment they walk in, and
Yes.
then that's your job.
Yeah.
Everything around you is noise. Just don't. Um,
That's
this is
right.
not the platform for any politics or
That's
religion.
right.
It's business, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of young kids, and that's a lesson they learn when they work for me. It's like, sorry, this nobody really. I mean, your life outside work is super important, but when you give me your 6 hours that you've committed to, or 4 hours, that's the minimum I expect from you. Your commitment to do a good job, and
That's
it's
it.
worked
That's
out
it.
so far. I mean, I wear a different hat with the kids when I'm dealing with them. It's a
Of
bit
course.
stricter, not as nice, kind of harsh,
They
but
need that.
they, a lot of them come to me at 16 years old.
Right.
Most of them, this is their first job. Um, but they come with that age group of the teenage workforce. I value them just as much as any other kind of employee because they bring a certain energy that
Yeah.
most of them come in at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm already spent. So they're the ones who are so enthusiastic. Yeah, and when they
Yeah.
come in, they're like, I always say, tell me about your day. And they start telling me, and you can see everybody's energy. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
fresh infusion of energy when most of us have been working, since 9 or
Yes.
8 or 9 in the morning. And a lot of them are very eager to work.
Hmm.
And maybe we've just been lucky with the kind of kids that we have. I have a very good pipeline of high school kids that come in. And yeah, like I said, many people won't hire teenagers. I'll take them and see what see what happens.
That's cool.
Most of them do.
Well, it goes along with that willingness, you said, the willingness to make mistakes. Like you said, like nothing's going to be perfect, and that you're taking that and applying it to the human capital piece.
Well, one of the first things I tell them when they start, I say this to every single one, there is no mistake you can't correct.
Yeah.
None, zero, just.
I love that.
And, for a nervous kid that's 16, in the first job, always so afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I always, if they're doing it repeatedly, then that's a problem. I will pull you aside and send you home. But
sure.
if you just like make a mistake, I mean, like I said, the amount of mistakes I make every day is like mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So I also tell them, if a customer comes in and says, "Can I taste your social sauce?" Don't ever say, "Let me ask my manager."
Right.
So you want to make that decision, because it's not gonna make the business go under if you made this customer taste it, and it's.
That's
so.
Right. Yeah.
But that also comes with, can I do it? Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. That's part of customer service. They just have to learn it,
Yes.
and they have to be willing to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, why burgers? So,
because that's how my kids ate for a long time when they were little. My husband and I kind of decided, let's look at what would sell, like economically. So traditionally, burgers and pizzas and fried chicken are the big sellers nationwide.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do a pizza place because I didn't want to get up early to do the dough.
Time to make the dough, not the pizza.
I would of course insist on making that dough and having to make it perfect. And I was like, I don't think I could wake up at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. So,
and besides, the pizza business is like, if you think the burger business is hard, the pizza business is just as hard, because there's a lot of moving parts as well. Fried chicken, I had no interest in that because that's a lot of work. Once again. But then I kept going back to the burgers just because every Friday when my kids were growing up, we would always go out for burgers.
Got it.
And sure enough, now that we have Social Burger, we have a lot of regulars that, Thursdays are burger night, Fridays are burger night, Tuesdays burger night, Tuesdays no cooking night. So I was exactly in their shoes when my kids were that age, and that's why I do like a good burger. Like I can still eat a burger, not every day anymore, but once I'll actually tell the staff a lot of times, I'm kind of hungry, just make whatever for me. And that's always a pleasant surprise because it's not the same person doing it. So it's how they see me eating is the reflection of what they give me. And it's a good surprise.
So like, what about like the meat? What's my question? Where do you get your meat?
So we work. So it's interesting. We get our meat from the Shenandoah Meat Co-op through Seven Hills.
And they're in Shenandoah.
So so basically the Shenandoah Beef Co-op. So all the smaller farms from the Shenandoah Valley take it down to Charlottesville where it's processed.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. And when you say processed, it's turned into chuck.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. When you first started, how do you shop for good beef? Like, did you, but you were already in culinary arts, so you kind of knew about farm to table and what to look for.
Yeah. So we mentioned it earlier. It's about homework.
Right.
I literally studied everything. I tried to learn everything I could about the burger market, the burger process. In fact, if you haven't met him, you should talk to Jeremy of the Italian Gourmet. He also helped me before we opened because I didn't have a physical kitchen yet. So I would have meat sent to him to try out. he helped me out that way. I've known him for years too. My nephew used to work for him, and we're
Okay.
still friends till today. And we support each other for whatever we need. So I literally went to almost every burger restaurant in the area. Hard job, but yeah. So
Yeah,
I just kind of found out who the suppliers were and trying to figure out that pipeline. Yeah,
got it.
it's a lot of it was just homework, and I, I would call people that I knew in the industry and say, who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? So if you haven't talked to him, you should also talk to Chris Janowski of Willard's Barbecue. He's helped me tremendously over the years, and the same with John Norton of Great American. I mean, I think I've asked those guys the most knucklehead questions over the last
Yeah,
5 years, and they're just so patient.
yeah.
And um, so a lot of where we are today really is a function of just all the information I took from everybody that was willing to help me.
Like, what's the process? Is it like you get beef from somewhere and you literally bring it home and you cook it, and then you're like,
Yeah. Or
nah.
our first supplier, actually, our first beef actually came from a farm in Maryland, and I tried it at Jose Andres's restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, yeah,
liked
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was like, this is it. And so that's how we started. It was another farm, and then when they started selling commercially, like at Giant, I was like, well, I can't. I mean, they're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
a great product. We get
sure.
something from them. When they started selling commercially in groceries, it's like, I can't.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
makes it different? But
Sure.
I was very happy for them. Could you imagine going from this small farm to having that kind of distribution? That is like,
Yeah,
I mean, so that's how I worked with Fells Point Meat, my supplier PJ, and he found us Seven Hills.
cool. Awesome. I can just imagine like those days of getting beef, bringing it home,
Yeah.
trying out. Like, but did you go into the detail of, I think I'm gonna ask you some dumb questions. So
Yeah.
like, like how far back in that chain did you go in terms of making the burger?
Well,
Like
yeah.
slaughtering the cow?
No, so I talked to this very,
It's a dumb question.
that's beyond, wow.
No, but like you watch
Yeah,
Gordon Ramsay and he like he might as well have just like caught the salmon out of the thing like himself. And he's filleting. I mean, filleting a fish is different than butchering a cow.
yeah,
But I can almost imagine the guy
yeah.
like in the, you know, the
So
whatever the
I will
hell,
tell
you
you,
know.
once again, I had the good fortune of having met this other chef named Hugh Cassard. He was the head butcher at Whole Foods, and then he moved to Balducci's, and he now teaches at a culinary school. He's this French guy, and when I told him, I said, Hugh, I am going to open this burger restaurant. How do I make it the best? So we sat for hours, and his initial thought was that I should have a meat processing room. That I would get and while that is, I
See, yeah, yeah.
in like small, we have like 1,400 square feet in Vienna. But this is all before I found my space, even. So it was just the amount of, and so he walked
Yeah.
me through how to do it. And because he was a butcher, he was like, well, you need X number of sinks, you need this line, this water line running through, you need this hose, you need this kind of disposal system. After that conversation, I decided I'm not having a butcher.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so it was a lot of that collaborative knowledge. But yeah, so that's kind of how it was. So
Wow.
I went, we even talked, I still have the notebook. It's this old notebook, an old notebook my kids brought home from school, which the millions of notebooks they never go through. That's required at the start of the year, and they come home practically untouched. But So I still have the formulas of like 80/20 and this and 90/10 and 73. It's just so it was very
You're talking
he
about fat to protein,
yeah.
or oh, okay, yeah,
So we used 80/20.
okay,
Uh, but also the just the butchering process, what the best blend would be. I just use chuck because it's the most economical but still tastes good for us
yeah.
for our price point. So
I didn't know that there were other kinds. I hope people out there watching aren't going,
okay.
duh. Oh, this is deep
No, no,
dive.
no. So
I've
I would
always wanted to do a deep
suggest
dive one.
if you're
Yeah.
ever buying beef to always buy the specific part, like ground chuck, ground round, because if you look up the definition of the USDA definition for ground beef, I'll leave it at that. You just need to look it up and
Okay.
you
I
know what
got
I'm
it.
saying.
I got it. So you want ground chuck or ground round,
Or
not
whatever ground brisket or whatever, as long as it's a
a
certain,
part of the
yeah,
animal,
yeah.
not ground beef.
I can't say that. I'm just saying look up the definition of ground beef, the USDA's definition for ground beef.
Got it. Okay, I understand. Okay. No, that's cool. Yeah, there's all stuff. Yeah. Um, wow, that's interesting. I mean, that would have been, I could envision a butcher shop, but yeah, no, I mean,
No, and he had this idea. So, oh, you use this part of the for your ground meat, for your burgers, then you could also sell these other parts. I'm like, I am not. I mean, it
yeah,
was
yeah,
such
yeah,
a
yeah.
fascinating conversation. If I had $10 million I would
Sure.
probably do something very like in
Yeah.
that. But we didn't. We didn't have any money.
That would have been in like next to Dean and DeLuca's in Georgetown, right?
Yeah, and I would probably go out of business in about 6 months.
Right.
I wouldn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, and that's a really key point to make too, right? Because it's um like when you talk about opening your business, it's about doing your homework, but also knowing kind of where you're like to dream and to dream big and to set goals, but also to kind of know where your wheelhouse is
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
go off the rails into something that like even sounds glamorous or romanticized or something
Yeah.
like, ooh, and you catch this vision of something, but now you're off in this whole other, almost gotta learn something completely new.
So we have this thing at Social Burger. I always say I don't like anything new and shiny. I don't,
Right.
it's like because if I did, I would be in a different business.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the there's still a lot of salespeople that come in and say, hey, I have this great whatever, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
polite, saying, you know what, thanks, but we're fine. And
Yeah.
it's not a stubbornness. It's just, I know it works. That's not where
Yeah.
our energy is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I, there's a reason, places like McDonald's, Five Guys, Shake Shack, because are around because people do like the burgers, but we just want to be a good neighborhood burger restaurant.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And if there's anything else that comes with it, so be it.
Yeah.
I'm
You've
happy.
got you've got laser focus.
I think you
Yeah.
have any business that anybody gets into with all the personal risk that we put in. I had to be that. I have to be that way. There's no. Let me figure that out in like 5 years. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
bills to pay, there are loans to pay. There's like today was payroll. For every business that
Yeah.
is doing payroll for Friday, today is the day where you have to turn all those numbers in. And that's the back end of running the business. It's not, that's part, like cleaning the bathroom, taking the oil
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
making sure that everything, all the refrigeration is at the right temperature. It's just
Right.
all,
Right. Right. Right.
it's
Right.
all the things that, um, you're right. You said the right word. It's very romanticized.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's what Jen Morrow at Bard's Alley said. It's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
she said the biggest takeaway for her going through this whole process was that the operations side for her was way, in her mind, was way less of a slice of the pie,
Yeah.
time and emotion wise, than it actually is. Like, seriously, I have to learn about plumbing. Like, I don't want to have to learn about plumbing.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
dishwashers.
I can miraculously fix the soda machine if need. I mean, I'm the one, I can't, I'm not mechanical at all. That's not something I know how to do, but I had to get on the phone with the soda installer. And it's the same. One day our hood was not acting properly. So I got on this call and the guy was like, okay, get a barbecue stick because that's high voltage. I'm like, and everybody, when I looked out, nobody was next to me because I had to reset this thing in the box. So dangerous. But we were like an hour from opening. What was I going to do? And he was at a job in like, 45 minutes away. So
Yeah. Wow.
you have to, it's almost like whatever you do, whatever you need to do to
Your
succeed.
soda, by the way, it's
Talk
not.
soda.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Oh man,
A bit of
now
like
I want to
crazy,
go buy right now. I'm not
a
even
bit of
enjoying it.
insanity with that. I fell in love with that soda when I was having lunch at Taylor Gourmet, the former Taylor Gourmet.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I was like, this is the soda we're going to have at Social Burger. So I had researched the guy, and till now we're good friends. I text him a lot. He always checks in.
Cool.
And so it was kind of the one thing that I knew I wanted to have. So I bought that machine before we even signed a lease. I gave him the check and I was like, I want to be first. And he was like, there's nobody else beating down our door for this. But we still laugh about that. I bought the machine before I signed.
Awesome.
But the guy was so happy to install it for me because
Yeah.
he probably heard my harebrained story over and over again until he had it installed. But it worked out. And he's also a small soda producer out of New Jersey.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah,
New Jersey. No, there's New Jersey has like you think about the egg cream, and the
yeah.
egg cream is
So
a yeah.
his
It's a
grandfather
Brooklyn thing,
started,
but
his grandfather started actually a very popular soda brand that you can see, a craft soda brand that you see around. And him and his brother grew up there in that business and running
God,
it. They ran it for a while, but they ended up something else happened, so they ended up opening their own when their
wow,
non-compete was over. Yeah,
you're you're a wealth of information, and your philosophy is really infectious,
I hope so.
and
Yeah,
it's it's inspiring, and it's like a great reminder to me of, okay, um, stay on track,
yeah.
and stick with it, and set goals and know where you're going.
And
Yeah.
it's so easy to go off track. I'm very open about it. I go to therapy every other week. It's the way to keep things balanced. And
Yeah.
one of the things I've had to work on with myself is the negative self-talk. You know,
Yeah.
I can convince myself both ways that this is the best thing and this is the worst thing. And it depends on the day, it depends on the
Yeah.
situation. But the
Yeah.
negative self-talk, and I've told the kids that I call them my kids, my own children that I've birthed, so many hours of labor. My work kids that we're trying to raise at work that are just as painful, right? So I've told them it's for me, my number one, the one thing that really goes against me is negative self-talk. And
Mm,
I just have to I'm more cognizant of it as it starts to creep in. I'm like, okay, nope, let's switch the mindset. But that's a learned skill too. I'm
yeah.
in my 40s and I learned it, so I can't expect the teenagers to know how to do it. But as long as they're aware
Yes.
that that's out there, because
Yeah.
I didn't know for a long time that that was my big issue. Um,
Yeah.
And that's part of like mental health and taking care of yourself. And I think if you're not realistic about where you are, it's hard to move forward. It's hard to even see
Yeah.
yourself 6 months down the road because like negative self-talk. I mean, literally I can do it so many times over in a day. It depends on the day. Today was one
Yeah.
of those mornings like nothing kind of went our way, but
Yeah.
then we're all flipping it around because I told everybody the last 3 hours, the first 3 hours of the day was just so ridiculous. Like the amount of things that were going down the drain. But then when I finally got back to work and we were talking about what tomorrow looks like, I said, at least we're busy. I mean, the
That's true.
reason it's so insane is because we have business coming in.
That's
I said,
good.
I said, remember what I always say, it's worse if we're sitting here and nobody is walking in.
It's true.
This is a very good problem to have. I'm happy to do whatever it is, but I said, I need to be home by 3. That's why, and literally everything was compressed so that I could leave at 3 and do this, and so but yeah, it's very easy to fall back into, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't have money. We don't have money for this. I need $10,000 to get this marketing program. I said, you know, Facebook and Instagram, they're free.
Yep.
If you think you need $10,000 to launch yourself online, I
No,
don't know. I
I
have a very good
know.
idea of that.
I and that's it. You hit the nail on the head. The only value add of a digital professional at this stage is time.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's that's going to be the story in this world, and I think that's why I'm focused on the stories
yeah,
because those
yeah,
are irreplaceable.
yeah.
No one there's only one Denise,
Oh,
and
and that's
and
nobody needs this crazy. It's true.
it's no, and it's a beautiful thing, and that we're all unique, um and it really, your transparency about that, I really appreciate it
Yeah,
because
I'm
vulnerability is hard, but when you do that, it's so freeing.
it
Um,
is. There's
yeah,
I think it's not so much mental illness or whatever, but it's the general state of your mental health
yeah,
day in, day out is so important. And however everybody else gets to where they need to be is their own business.
sure.
It's their own
It's
decision.
personal. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very personal. But if
yeah,
a lot of kids ask me, about it, and I'm very open. But I always say to them, you need to talk to your parents, you need to talk to your guidance counselor, because that's really not. That's not my place to say.
right.
But if they do ask me, I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the big jokes is that I have therapy every other Wednesday, and no supplier calls me every other Wednesday afternoon. They just don't. If they want to get like, because they know
They know.
they know that this is my time. Don't come to me with the question or like tell me that the order was bought.
Anything.
We're about it. It's the same with the staff when if we're busy and it's the times they're like, get out, go, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
and there's no shame. And I think when I come back to work, everybody's like happier. I'm calmer.
yeah.
It's whatever you take away from how you deal with mental health and your mental well-being. I shouldn't say mental health because I'm not an expert, but just my personal
It's a well-being.
mental
Yeah,
well-being.
yeah,
It takes a village to get me there because that's
yeah.
where my life is structured. But then you're also so grateful for everybody that knows I need to like get out of the
Totally.
restaurant. And that's why I did this interview today here at home. Because if we were at Social Burger, we couldn't talk this way.
Right, right.
So it's almost physically removing yourself and
Yes. Yeah.
pressing reset every other week.
I don't know if if I can say this. Yeah, no, this was it. Because this is when I met you.
Yeah.
She was the night before.
When you thought I was tattooed and super hipster, well,
Yeah, because your manager
this
is.
is it. Yeah.
My wife the night before was like, oh man, I'm just craving a burger. I just want a burger. And then she woke up in the morning talking about a burger. And then I'm driving home from work. She's like, can you pick up a burger? And I'm like, sure.
And when we were talking, she called you, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
You
She's
were
like,
like,
hey.
she probably wants her burger right now.
She's like, chop chop. So she got her burger and she thoroughly enjoyed her burger.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's, honestly, that's all we want. When people in town think of a burger, that we're top of mind. They can go
yeah,
anywhere else, but I just want that, hey, let's go get a burger. Let's go to Social Burger. Because you can't expect people to have a burger every day or pizza every day or tacos every day. But hopefully when the time comes, a burger, milkshake or fries or sweet potato fries or whatever, that they think of us. So,
yeah,
yeah.
cool.
Well,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much for
so
your
much.
time.
And I wish you luck on your project.